Welcome, and thanks for joining us for our free online gathering today. It is hosted by the Federated Women's Institutes of Canada, WI Canada, and the Adelaide Hunter Hoodless Homestead located in St. George, Ontario. This gathering is called Repurposing Heirloom Doilies. It's facilitated by Barbara Stones. Barbara is on the board of directors of the Federated Women's Institutes of Ontario. She also sits on the board of the Erlenlee Museum Home Committee, and which is located in Stony Creek. And Barbara is a longtime friend of mine. So thanks so much for volunteering. This event is thanks to a New Horizons for Seniors grant, and it is part of the Life Hack series. So just a few rules for our virtual gathering today. My name is Margaret Bile. I'm the President-elect of the Federated Women's Institutes of Canada, and I will be moderating the meeting today. In order for everyone to be able to hear the conversation, your mute buttons will be activated with the exception of the speakers. If you do not wish to have your image visible, please shut off the video option. This Zoom meeting will be recorded and used on social media. Questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. You may wish to use the chat function or raise your hand, and I will reactivate your microphone for verbal questions. Please stay at the end of the gathering to take a short online poll. Your participation in the polling will be greatly appreciated. These survey results will be shared with you after the polling, and the polling results are critical for us in helping to report back to the New Horizons for Seniors grant. We have some upcoming events. Don't forget, Daylight Savings Time is on March the 14th at 2 a.m. So we have a painting workshop on Sunday, March the 21st at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. It's called Learn How to Paint a Landscape with Acrylics, and it is demonstrated by Linda Tays. Linda is with the Alberta WI, and I want to thank Linda for volunteering her services. We also have one in March, on Saturday, March the 27th at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's called The Colors of Spring Floral Arrangements, and it is facilitated by Hearts and Flowers in PEI, and it is in collaboration with the PEWI. So thanks for those volunteers as well. And again, a special thanks to Barbara Stones, the Government of Canada, for the New Horizons for Seniors program grant called the Life Hack series, a learning from our elders.
So doilies, I'm so glad to see so many people join us today for this. I was doubtful that there would be people interested, but probably you have inherited some from your family, so I'm hoping you'll get some ideas today on how to use what you have on hand. A little history of doilies. Doilies were generally thought of as an impractical dust collectors made by fussy old women with little else to do with their time. How do you like that? Well, the origin of the term doily occurred in 1711 when a cloth merchant sold fancy woven napkins, and his last name was Doily, D-O-Y-L-E-Y. So on to later times. It was very popular during the Victorian era when cotton thread was industrially produced and women could afford it. So by the mid-1800s, crochet was being practiced widely. And originally it was a convent art that the nuns taught to impoverished women during the Irish famine of 1846. And this gave the women a chance to sell their products and bring food to the table for their families. So over time, doilies were used in the dining room under pictures of water or dishes, just to make the table look a little fancier. And then it also spread to the living area and the bedrooms. You would often see them on end tables, the night tables. Dresser scarves were crocheted as a doily. So another use was in Victorian times and early 1900s. These were used on the back of couches, and it was to prevent the oily product that the gentlemen used on their hair. It's called an antimascassar, and that the product they used was a mascassar oil or something like that. So this was something like this was placed at the back of the couch. And also these were placed on the arms of the chair so that people would not, because people have fidgety fingers, you know, so this kept the couch arms or the chair arms from wearing too much. So actually these I was given as a shower present in 1962. So they were still in use at that time. So these are mine from my collection. So some of you may have these things, or you wondered why there was one in the middle of the back of the couch. What was that for? Or the back of a chair. So that explains that. So doilies are making a comeback in decorating. So they've got many uses that I'll be showing you some of them today, and hopefully you'll be able to use them. So the sky is the limit to your imagination. So please use what you have, see what you can find around your house, or you know what? The thrift shops are full of doilies because people are downsizing and they don't like these things anymore. I still use doilies on my tables and the bedroom set and that, just because I like the looks of them. So doilies come in all kinds of shapes and sizes and colors. So here's another one that came from my family. Pink flowers and green leaves. And this one here is exceptional. I'm not sure where this one came from, but it has the different florals, orchid purples and oranges and yellows around the edge of this one here. This one is in very poor shape. So I'm hoping, I'm not going to do too much with that one. It's just pretty to look at. So you might find some of these stashed away in your linen closet. But if not, and you want to make something, head to a thrift shop because they're giving them away almost. So our first thing that we're going to make today, and I may have to stand up for this, Margaret can let me know if it's visible or not to you. These little lavender jars. Now I had to make something for a raffle that's coming up, and I had nothing that that was ready. So I thought, well, I've got lavender on hand, so I'll make a few little jars. So this is what I did. Jars, I found little ones at Dollarama. There's a jam jar here that has one of the designs on it, so that's perfect for this job, or just a jam jar that you had. Just take the label off and there you go. So this size, and this was another cute little jar that I had. I think it had some type of a fig preserve in it, but it's just got a little doodad on the front of it. So I filled it with about half a jar of lavender. And now I'm going to, very simple to do. You find a doily and you stick it on the top. And if I can find my rubber bands, there we go. And you just stick the rubber band around it. Now this will let the fragrance of the lavender come out, so it's perfect for your night table to help with calming you before you go to sleep. So you just get it on there as even as you can and wrap ribbon around it. Of course, you have all different kinds of colored ribbon or white. And I just tied a bow around the front of it. And then if you want, you can decorate the top. I did on these ones, just with some little florals that I happen to have on hand. So I just made a little bouquet, cut it off. I won't cut it off, but I'll just stick it in there. And you could decorate it as much or as little as you like. Personally, I think just the ribbon around it is nice. Of course, this one I can't get apart. They usually just pull out like that. So when I decide what I want on this one, I'll just shorten that up and wrap them together before I stick them in. Okay, so that's one thing, very simple to do. And most areas have lavender farms now. So this batch of lavender I've got down near where Margaret lives. So I've had it for since last year when I did this workshop at the Earl and Lee, and last spring I was supposed to do it at the Hoodless, and of course some sort of pandemic hit us and we weren't able to do that. So there you go, that little flower arrangement on the top. Doesn't have to be much, but I know there's some people that are like to be more elaborate than I. So you can do
Barb,
it.
can you just show that a little closer to the screen?
Okay, I'll try to get over. Ladies, this has been a problem because I don't have a laptop. So it's just like that on the ribbon.
That's great.
On the edge. So we've had to move the display into my office with my desktop computer. So everything's a little crowded. You can also add a little bit of pearls to it in front of your ribbon, or jewels or whatever else you might have on hand. Okay, so that's, and of course I have no place to put things, so I'm going to be up and down here. So I bought this bag of lavender at Neob and Niagara-on-the-Lake. So I made many, many things with this lavender that I had the workshop last year. Next thing we're going to do is make sachets, which is another nice thing to have in your bedroom. And I filled some of these little candy bags with lavender. You can get these at the dollar store. There goes one on the floor. Up and down, Barb. So they're perfect for lavender. You can't just put lavender into something because it has little fine particles that come through. So even with these little sachet bags, there's still a little bit of residue happening. So this is one here. So all it is a doily gathered up with ribbon and tied. Again, you could put more detail on that, pearls or flowers or whatever you want. If you wanted it to hang in your closet, you could add another ribbon to it to hang on a hook. Or you can leave it as is and put in one of the drawers. Linen closet would be lovely for one of these. Give your linens all that nice lavender fragrance. Okay, so I did have some more. So it's just a doily that I ran ribbon through. I'm just going to gather it up. This one won't be as big. And you just stick one of the little pouches in there. Gather it up as evenly as possible. And I don't know about you, but I've got tons of ribbon on hand. So I have pretty well every color imaginable. Some of it is thin, narrow like this, and others are a bit wider. So you pick what suits the project. Okay, so I just pulled that tight. I would most likely put another knot in it, of course, but I'm just going to try to tie a bow with my arthritic fingers. So there's another little one. So that'd be perfect for a drawer or to hide in your linen closet. I would, of course, trim the ribbons off of that. Quite often you can find doilies that are heart-shaped, and you could make a little sachet out of that.
Barb, there's a question on what kind of ribbon do you use for the lavender?
It's just regular ribbon that you get on a when you're doing crafts or any other type of project. So this is wider. This is a really wide one, and this is very narrow. So it's like a satin ribbon. So it's fabric rather than paper.
Okay, thank you.
It holds up better. Okay, so now I've got to check my notes because I've tried to put this in order of what we wanted to make today. So we did the lavender jars and the sachets. Now you can make covers for jars for your collections. I'll bring this one over. Hopefully you can see it. I'll bring it close to the thing. Okay, so this is a jar of sea glass or mermaid glass, as my grandkids call it. So all the beaches I've been to, my aunt used to live by one, so every time I went for a walk, I always found pieces of glass. So I would gather them, and I thought, oh, those are nice, and they're different colors. So I put them in an old crown preserving jar and added a little string of battery operated lights. So it's a nice little accent. And this one, I just put a Battenberg lace doily over. So it's fabric trimmed in Battenberg lace. Now Battenberg lace is twill tape that you do embroidery stitches around too. So you have plain old tape, straight, and you make curves and different designs with it. So those are another type of doily.
Can you put a little bit closer?
Okay, so it's just flat quill tape.
That's great.
So I was shocked when I first heard that. I said, wow, I would never have guessed, but you fancy it up by doing the embroidery stitches. Now try to get the rubber band on, and it's good to just use a rubber band because it keeps it in place so that you can get your ribbon on, if I can get it back on, that is. There we go. And for this one, I just used a stretchy cord that was used for Christmas presents or other presents. So it's already stretchy. So I just stretched it around. So you could use, if you have a jar of shells or something that you're collecting, or jewels, or broken jewelry, or anything, it just makes a nice accent. And what was I going to put on that one? I think it was this one, might be too big. But again, you run ribbon through some of the holes and you just tighten it. This one is just a wee bit too big. Probably that other one that I had for the sachet would have been better. And it just makes a nice display. So there you go. You could even use it over a vase or something else. So it's up to you. Just a couple ideas. So now we're going to do, look at the runners that we have. Now in the background here, you can see a bunch of different runners that are on the, can you see them on the screen that I have? I don't know if you can.
Yes, we can see them.
Okay. This is one that was one from my family. Someone in my family liked pink. It wasn't me, but most of my aunts and my mother liked pink. So this was a whole set that was made. So I have a few of the pieces of that from then. A lot of these runners I picked up at thrift shops, and they are just amazing. I have a mahogany, no, it's a cherry wood table in my dining room, and I like to show off the wood because it's in good shape. So I have used them on there in between dinners when we could have dinners. Just wanted to show you this one here. This is amazing. I picked this up at one of the thrift shops. The work is very nice. A lot went into this, and you just imagine the time that it took someone to make these things. And you can pick it up for peanuts at thrift shops. It is very sad. This one has a bit of damage, so I don't use it very often. There's some loose threads in that. Could be mended if I had the time to sit there for hours mending it. So you just imagine and just appreciate the work that has gone into all these things. They weren't done in an hour. They took hours and days to create. So they are an art form as far as I'm concerned. Well, I won't try to put that back up there because I'll get it messed up. So in my travels, I found some doilies, and this set here was a round blue one and two little ones. So I thought, well, I'll make a runner out of that. And I got that idea out of this magazine. It is Country Woman, Spring of 2019 magazine, and it showed a runner. And they used, they dyed some of the doilies. You use crochet cotton, is cotton, so most of it should absorb the dye very well. So you can do that if you like. But when I came across these three, I thought, well, I'll just tag them together. So it's just a few little stitches to hold them together. So I thought that made a nice small runner. Now there was other ones that I found, and there was 4 of them, 2 larger ones and 2 little ones that matched different colors. So I put them together, and it's just tacking a few stitches, and that makes a nice small runner also. Then I discovered I had all these others in these shades, same shades. So there's a little one, so I could add to this one. And there's 3 like this here. I think those are lovely. They're very light and airy, so they could be placed over. Then there's a darker one, so that could go somewhere. And then there's a bigger one. So you just play around and put it together and just have something no one else will have. It'll only be one of a kind because you made it. And then there's this beautiful piece here that I have yet to decide what to do with that, but that is just gorgeous. I hope you can see this. I should have it against something so you can see it better. There. The work in that is just beautiful. So that gives you a couple ideas what you can do with some of the things you might have, or you could go looking and find them. Now we get into the bigger items that I'm going to have to reach down below and grab. I just gotta move a few things out of the way here so I don't knock them over. Okay, so I love cushions. So I have lots of pillows, throw pillows in my house. And I had some doilies that I really like that came from my aunt's house. So I had saw this one here and I thought, well, that would look lovely on a plain brown cushion. So it's just brown, shiny material. And I just tacked that on. It's not sewn tight. There's tacks here and there around the edges, of course, and then a few in the center. So it is loose. And of course, it's just for show. It's not to use. So I have a day bed in my guest room, and there's got to be 10 pillows on it. My bedroom has 6 plus 2 pillow shams. So like I say, I'm a pillow person. Now I did find when I was going through the stash of doilies I picked up at thrift shops, I found another one that could be used. So I've just pinned it to it, just so you get an idea of the effect. So you can do this at home on just something different. I always make my pillow covers also because it's just a square, and I can still sew a square. I used to sew a lot, but haven't been able to in recent years. This one here, I really love this. I'm not happy with the pillow cover because I didn't use special material. It's just a cotton broadcloth, but it was this type of doily with the linen in the center. And I thought, well, and usually my pillows sit like that. So I thought, oh, that would make a nice one. So of course I tacked that one on too. And then I'm seeing my ribbons are coming undone here. So I should have had a double knot in those. And then I just put thin satin ribbon, I'll wove it around the center square. So let's see what else I have. Now this pillow didn't need anything on the front, but I wanted to show you this. It is a square doily that would look lovely on a solid color. And again, this is a shiny material.
Can you tilt it up just a bit, Barb, please?
Yes, give me direction because I can't see me except the little picture for some reason.
Looks good.
Yeah, this is another beautiful doily, and there was quite a few in this set that I bought. Some are white, some are off-white. Most of the colors of doilies are either white or ecru. But then you did see there are variegated crochet cottons that you can use. So I'll just bring this one up. This is my other pillow. So I always make 2 pillows if I have the stuff for it. So this one here would also look nice on that. And of course you have to get the right side of your doily. I noticed on one of the ones I had made, it's upside down, but I'm not taking it off and redoing it. So I think this is the right side for this one. So all I have to do is center it and a few stitches around to hold it in place. There's that one, there's this one here. Now, a lot of the doilies you may find in thrift shops are stained. So good luck trying to get the stain out. Most of them are set for years and years and years. So there is your option of dyeing them with tea to get a beige color, which would match most of the stains, or to dye them another color. So you could try that, but they're just very effective. I just love working with doilies. So another ecru one, wrong way. Now here's one that I was given a number of items from this lady. These were her ants. Now she did the yellow center, green leaves, and then white around. This uses a little thicker crochet cotton. Then most of it is very fine work. This is just a little thicker, but that would be very pretty also. Now we're going to look for a bigger pillow because I've got this monster circle one. So if we had a 16-inch pillow, that would look lovely on it. And again, you could add ribbon, you could add whatever you like, or just leave it plain. And now we're back to the pink and white. That was my family one. So I have a square of that. That would also look good on a pillow. So now I know many of you probably have pillow shams because that seems to be the way of the world now. So my pillow shams are printed. So I didn't have any plain colored. So I flipped it over and added this runner to it, just pinned, of course, so that you can see what you can do with a plain colored pillow sham or pillowcase. I don't have any dark pillowcases. Mine are all white or beige. So I wanted to show it on a dark color. So this is as dark as I could get using my own pillow sham. Now it was longer than the sham, so I just took it to the other side. If I was going to use this as a pillow sham, it won't matter because this is the side that'll be showing, not the other. So you can do that, or you can wrap a bigger pillow and tie it, tack it on the other side, on the back. Okay, so that's the pillow sham. I gotta watch the pins, I don't stick them in my hand. Now, does anybody have any questions or suggestions or anything they might like to share? I'm all ears.
Barb, I saw in a country magazine where they made this gorgeous kitchen valance out of doilies. You know,
Yeah.
oh, you probably saw the same one if you look at fashion magazines. And it was out of this world.
You could do that with one of these runners. Definitely, like this one here. You could run a little rod through it and even gather it if it's a smaller window. That would be beautiful. Thank you, Hanya. I knew there'd be other ideas coming up just because. Now this is, I told you I did do a couple of things. I like the filet crochet because you're working, filling in groups of stitches on a grid. First you make the grid and then you fill in the stitches. So I did a bedroom set with this here. So there's 2 long ones and 2 narrow ones. And I see I've got a stain there. Whoops. So I'm not perfect. This has been, I use this about once a year for a month or so, and then I switch my runners and doilies over. So, because I've got a few.
So Barb, we have a few comments from the chat room. One is from Susan Richards. My grandma used to make doilies, and I now have some dotted all over the house, which is a lovely way to remember her. And
Nice.
then we have from Hanya, while I was working, a new lady came to live in the seniors' home. She brought a box to the nurses' station and told us to help ourselves. Gorgeous doilies, memories of a good lady. And then grandkids love pillow fights. We have to designate show pillows and pillow fight pillows. That was from Hanya. Seems there was a gorgeous valance made of doilies. So again, thanks, Hanya.
That's great.
And Barb Thompson, small doilies can be stiffened, and used as snowflake ornaments. That's nice.
Aha.
And then a question, how do you know which is the right side?
Oh, good question. I'm not a great crocheter, but you usually can see a ridge that, well, I get something to show it on. If this one is a good one to show, I don't know. Usually you can see a ridge that is forward instead of,
You need it a little higher, Barb, and a little closer, please.
so there is a ridge around your shell on the edge, and it, if you turn it over, then it just kind of blends in, so it doesn't stick out. Okay, so that's the only way I can tell. Being not an avid crocheter, I do crochet, but small things.
Okay.
Okay.
A couple more questions here. I have to put my glasses on, so sorry about that. So from Emma, I absolutely love that I have so many ideas: curtains, trims for blankets, pockets for dresses.
Yes.
3 ways I use doilies is from Patricia. And then it's possible to permanently stiffen fabric with PVA glue. Then you can drape it over an upturned bowl to create an ornamental bowl. That's nice. And then will they fray if you cut them?
There you go. So yes, this is, I used draping over a bowl to make a catch-all dish. I just used one of the cheap ones I could get at the dollar store because I didn't want to ruin anything. So I used white glue, a little bit of mixture of white glue and water. So you've got a little bowl, catch-all for jewelry or whatever, any size. You just, of course, you line your glass container with saran or plastic, and then dip this and then lay it over top. Little 1 cup prep bowls are a nice size for a candy dish. So I didn't get around to trying another one, but I will use a fancier doily next time. Okay, so what else do I have? This magazine that I showed you the runner in also mentioned pockets on aprons. And then it showed how to do a rectangular one around a lampshade.
Can you hold that up a little?
Sorry. So that's, and actually it tells you how to make a lampshade, which I wasn't about to do. But so that's another use. I still have more to show you here. There we go. Speaking of lampshades, I've got this little lamp at a thrift shop because I didn't have a lamp good size. And now, how many of you remember seeing huge doilies in the middle of your grandmother's table that had all these frilly things that all stood up in the air with sugar starch? So this whole big thing was in the middle of the table. I'm gonna get rid of some stuff here. So it is huge. And all this edge would be standing up in gathers, stiff as a board. It was gorgeous. That was very, very popular. So this was back in the 40s, 50s, maybe even into the 60s, I'm not sure. And of course, I found one of these at a thrift shop. So I had this one to make a cover for a lampshade. So I wove ribbon through it, one set of holes, put it over top, All these round doilies have a center, so it's easy to find the center when you're doing something like this, covering a jar or whatever. And I would just tighten whatever color ribbon you want and tie a knot and a bow. And again, you could fuss it up as much as you want. And there is your lamp. It's too bright to see probably. So I'll turn it off and try to get it closer. Whoops. Are you still seeing this, Margaret?
Looks good, Barb. Very nice.
Picture's gone. All I got is WI Canada on my screen. Okay.
Yeah, that's because it's on view, host view.
Okay. Alrighty, so that's another way. It's really, can you just imagine all these? You'll probably be able to find that online if you look for sugar starch doilies pictures, and you'll see it. They stand right up at attention, and they were gorgeous, but not practical nowadays. So I wonder what fell over here. I'll find out later. And back to my notes so I don't forget something.
While you're doing that, Barb, we have some more in the chat.
Okay.
One is somebody's daughter framed some of her grandmother's doilies, and now they hang on a bedroom wall.
Nice.
And then somebody attaches, this is from Terry, attaches doilies to embroidery hoops and have them hanging in a picture window to keep the birds from hitting the window. Good idea. She also makes dream catchers with them. She also attaches them to antique bottles and add embellishments.
Great.
We also have some small doilies can be framed, and a collection of small framed doilies is a wonderful wall display. Many of Barbara's great ideas will also work with beautiful antique hankies too.
Yes, definitely.
There's a few more, but I'll let you go on and then we'll get back to the chat.
Speaking of the embroidery hoop, I framed this one on, it's a purse handle actually. So I just tacked the points to this purse handle and then added things to it as a dream catcher. So I use shells and a feather and beads and all kinds of ribbons and things, gold ribbons and that. That would look lovely hanging in a window. So yes, thank you for that idea, because it is something that has, and you can go online and you'll see so many of these examples. If you go to Pinterest or just Google that type of thing. So we also have the jean jacket. Okay, so jean jacket, and these were heart-shaped. And I thought, oh, they're perfect to add to, I just tacked the inside to the pocket and then tacked around the outside. I happened to have two matching ones, so it was perfect for this. You can also do things with the sleeves. And then I did this one on the back. Unfortunately, this jacket's just a little too small for me, but it fits three of my granddaughters perfectly. So might have a fight about who gets it. Because if it fit me, I would be getting it. So all kinds of ideas. And again, they're just tacked, so it is loose. So you just tack it where you think it needs it, of course, around the edges. Now I happen to have a jean purse that I have not figured out what I want to do with it yet. So again, I could put doilies into the pockets, or little doilies on the back pockets. So I bought this at a craft show one year. I've used it without, but I'm thinking, oh yeah, it needs something. So maybe one of these doilies on a back pocket or something, little one. Like I say, your imagination is your limit. You know, there's so many good ideas out there. So let's see what else I got here. Well, I'm just going to throw that down there. Just check my, yep, we did the candy dish or the catch-all. And now because it's almost St. Patrick's Day, you can cover a plant pot with a doily. Again, it's a little tricky one-handed. If you only have one person in the house trying to get the rubber band again around the doily, it's just a big round doily that I put a rubber band around to get it onto it and then put ribbon around it. And of course, it's a shamrock for our St. Patrick's Day. So, some other ideas that may have come up, Margaret.
Okay, so we have, this is from Patricia. I took apart a tablecloth and made medallions about the size of a canning jar lid, but badly damaged. I took apart the medallions to use 3 ways: the tops of pin cushions, stiffened dangles for my Christmas tree, and threaded onto the thread spikes on my antique sewing machine. Let me see this. To decorate them and make the spool of thread behave better. Okay, and you can wrap Christmas balls in a doily and then decorate them. We have from Anne Marie, I have a small rectangle doily on my doily my mother crocheted years ago, which I have adorned with various lapel pins collected over the years and have hung them on the wall. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I was just thinking that a doily added to a plain bulletin board might look nice too. That's great. And Jill from the UK, thank you very much for inviting the WI Wanderers. She had to leave and wants everybody to stay healthy. I have a hand up from Graham and Annie, so if you'd like to unmute your mic, and anybody that would like to speak, please just unmute your mic now.
Yeah, it was just to say that I was a bit concerned you were putting the doily over that lampshade. The heat in the middle, would it not singe the centre of the doily?
On the lampshade?
Yeah.
No, it's, well, you don't have a 100 water in there. This is like a 40, but it's covered with the lampshade. So it really doesn't seem to get hot. Maybe a little warm, but that's about it. And you wouldn't leave it for hours and walk out, walk out of the room and leave it on all day. But
Right.
just be cautious. Yes. Very important. Be cautious. Yes. On my travels through all the thrift shops, I came across 10 or 11 of these rectangles that someone had started putting together and had this stack of them. And then they went to the thrift shop. So I don't know what happened, but I can see them being put together as a, with a solid color underneath them, as a lap robe or quilt, could be added to a quilt, could be Afghani type thing, or pillows. So it's just beautiful. Again, this is a filet crochet, which is what I like doing because I have trouble following patterns in a circle. So it's not my thing, and I can't use a tiny crochet hook with my arthritic fingers, but I can put stuff like this together. So I'm thinking with all these that I have in the stack, I will lay them out on my day bed at some point with a solid color under them and just see what it looks like. And I thought, oh, that's a great idea. There's so many finds. And like I say, at the thrift shops, they want 50 cents. $1 sometimes is the most I've ever paid for any of them. So it's just a shame because of the work involved, the time involved. It's just,
We have a chat here from Patricia. Those rectangles are placemats. She has a set of them and they look gorgeous for a dinner party under her best hand thrown pottery. Well done, Pat, or Patricia,
Wonderful.
sorry. Those rectangles could be lined on one side and made into a cute clutch bag. Just thought rounds could make like an antique drawstring bag. That's a nice idea as well.
Yes, yep, you could do that. Yep.
Many years ago, I saw a picture in a magazine. I've never done it, but it was actually a very solid color. This happened to be red, I seem to remember. But they made a bedspread out of it, a sort of quilt, and they used doilies, and then it looked like a sort of lace stem, and then there were flowers all over the bedspread.
Yes,
That was a larger project, but
yes. I was thinking that would be great on a solid color underneath. They would really make them pop. That you'd really see all the work involved in them, and that would be lovely. So, yeah, lots of good ideas. So, if you do happen to have some around the house or some in the family, don't get rid of them until you've discovered all these different ways that you could possibly use them, or even pass them on by making a little jar or a sachet or something for the family. Some of the others are just square ones. And again, different designs, but the same size. Just imagine the work. And these are very thick and stiff.
We have a couple of chat comments there. You could put the rectangular ones in laminating plastic to make them waterproof for placemats.
Aha.
And then from Terry, I've also covered old books with doilies and other things and made scrapbooks. That's pretty interesting too.
I like that idea. Scrapbook. Yes, and I did pull out one of my placemats I went on, but it just didn't do. So I'm thinking I just didn't have the right kind of placemat. But I love the ideas, so thank you. So everybody, I hope you made some notes of things you can do.
And from Barbara, for stains, try a paste of salt and water, then lay on the grass in the sun and test after an hour or two. And Barb's aunt swore by this. This is from Barbara Weiss.
Okay.
Thanks, Barbara.
Barbara, taste of salt and water and lay on the grass. Okay, summertime for sure. Thank you. Wonderful. Well, it's been nice hearing other ways to use these works of art. I just can't get over it. That's why I'm not a quilter, but that's why I enjoy and appreciate seeing the work of quilters, because I know the time involved, the art form involved. And to me, doilies are just another art form. It's just wonderful work, and the time and energy that went into these things. It's remarkable. At the Erlenlee home, we do have 2 doilies in the dining room that have been framed. They're the bigger ones. They're about this size, and they're framed, and they just make beautiful additions to the heritage room. So that is something, if you have specific ones that belong to your family, that you might want to consider. The framing shops can do them for you, or if you're talented that way yourself, you could do it. So there's all different kinds, shapes and sizes. And like I say, most are the white or the ecru that you see. But I appreciate the interest. I was very happy to see that many people were tuning in today. And our ladies from the UK with their glass of wine. It was a little bit too early in Canada for a glass of wine, but I'll have one this evening when I put my feet up.
So there's also a chat here from Jay Lambert. This has been very informative and inspiring. Thank you. So I would like to thank Barbara Stones very much for all of her efforts in trying to help us understand doilies and what we can do with them. And I would really like to ask everybody if you'd give me some indulgence here and fill in the poll for us. I'm going to put that on the screen right now. And I think there's 4 or 5 questions there. And then we will share all of the poll answers afterwards. So if you just indulge me for a moment, please, that would be great. You should be seeing the, can you see the poll?
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
That was interesting, Barb. You did a good job.
Well, thank you. I enjoy it. This stuff has been ready for a year, since I did the workshop at the Lee, and then I was supposed to do it for at the Hoodless in the spring. Well, COVID happened, so yep. So I can disperse all this stuff now to where it belongs.
Mhm.
So I'm just sharing now the results of the polling for everybody to see. And I really would like to thank you for doing that for us. It helps us with our reporting to the New Horizons for Seniors grant.
Thank you very much, Barb. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, you're very welcome for that. Yeah, I'm hoping people make use of some of the ideas. I hope you can't use them all, but maybe just a couple.
You're welcome to stay on and chat and ask questions and share your ideas. That would be great. While you're doing that, I'm just going to bring up my screen again. Yeah, not that one. I want this one. So I just want to remind everybody that we have lost a lot of people in Canada through COVID-19. So I'm asking you to please practice safe social distancing, wear your mask, stay safe, stay healthy. And hopefully we'll have the vaccines in short order and everybody can come back to a somewhat normal Canada. I'm just going to go back to our events. Thanks again, Barb. You did an awesome job.
Oh, you're welcome. It's fun. I enjoy puttering around with things.
All right. And I'm going to ask anybody that would like to stay on. So here's our events again, a painting workshop with Linda Tays that is on Sunday, March 21st at 2 o'clock. And then we have the Colors of Spring. It's going to be floral arrangements, Saturday, March 27th, again at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen there now. But anybody that wants to, I'm going to share, change this over to, let me see if I can do this. I'm going to put this on gallery view. And I'm going to take some screenshots. Everybody can see each other. Hi, Evelyn. Okay. So if you don't mind, if you don't want to be on the screen, just stop the video. And right now I'm going to take some screenshots here. Supposed to work. Okay. There we go. How many people? We've only got 24 people on now, so I'm going to take one more screenshot. You can continue talking while we're doing this. Thank you so much for joining us.
Okay, any other comments? I would love to hear them, and maybe send some pictures to FWIC if you have something you want to share about using your doilies.
Barb, I just thought, wouldn't doilies make a beautiful bridal gown if that would be the bride's style, or even maybe make a skirt or something? Well, you've inspired me. I'll see what kind of boho things I can do with doilies.
Okay, I'd love to see some of them, Anya.
Anya had an idea here about making a bride's dress from doilies. So that's a great idea.
Yes.
And let's see here. Linda Tays has said one way to tell the right side of a doily is that it looks nicer than the back. And the back will be where the ends are weaved in. And Patricia, she's taken items apart selectively so that she can use the outer edges as a frame for a tablecloth. That's kind of neat too.
Yes.
And then we have a buy from Diane from the UK. And Linda Hoy has said she's made a bridal bouquet using a doily. That's nice.
Oh, yes.
And Patricia has several. She's planning to use the tops of the bodices reproduction lingerie. Cool.
Nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Those can see the wheels spinning. Ideas coming.
Ladies, you can take yourselves off of mute if you like and just ask your questions however you wish. Somebody's got a question. Oh, that was just mine. Okay.
How many doilies do you have, Barb?
Oh, I have not counted, but probably 75.
How do you store them?
Not very well, which I'm sorry about that. I only have probably a dozen heritage ones of my own that came from my family. The others I've been all, hunting them around the 13 different thrift shops in the area. But so I'd have supplies on hand, but the archival tissue in between them rolled on a saran wrap roll, like an empty roll, and you put the archival tissue on it and roll them around that and cover it again with the tissue. That is the best way.
Do you think cedar chests are safe?
Good question. There's pros and cons because I've heard different things, that the cedar really doesn't make a difference. And then I've heard, oh yes, it does. And people have cedar closets for things. But then you have the problem of the odor if you're displaying your linens or want to wear something with a heritage doily or whatever on it, you have that odor. So yeah, I don't think it makes much difference.
Patricia has a question for you, Barb.
Yeah, it's more of a comment on some of the stuff I've seen on chat where people are asking about taking things apart. I've taken apart quite a few things, and I try very carefully to identify where they've been linked together and undo that stitching between medallions rather than cutting, which can cut into the edges of the motif. If you find where a little edge, where you can snip a thread and then keep kind of pulling that thread out using, say, a crochet hook or a darning needle to help you, you get results where you haven't damaged the edges of the motifs you're planning to keep.
That's right. And you can also run a sewing machine stitch around like 1/4 of an inch away from what you want to save, and then cut on the other side of that.
The other thing is that I use well washed cotton from sheets rather than archival tissue.
Yes.
Away, and that works really well, and it protects it. Say you're putting it in something like a cedar closet or whatever, it keeps it from picking up the oils and transferring it onto the threads, which then become very hard to get out. So I've had better success with using fabric to protect my crochet work.
Yes, especially if you have the 100% cotton. Yes. That's washed, so it's there's no starch or anything left in it. Yeah.
I have a wonderful, if you ever get to Manitoba, there's a wonderful thrift shop here run by the Mennonite Central Committee. They have a whole number of them, but they have one that's the end called their end of the line thrift shop. And their stuff there is by the pound.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that would be fun to go to.
If you ever get here, I'll give you a guided tour.
Okay.
Hey, thanks, Patricia. We have another comment here from Terry, and it says you can take a table runner or tablecloth, bedspread, and cut it into the medallions. They can be glued to things or used in other crafts. If it's not handled too much, it won't unravel.
Okay. Good idea. Yep. So I knew there would be lots of ideas.
Susan has her hand up there.
This is a table runner that my grandma made and many years ago, and I actually use it on our dressing table in our bedroom.
Lovely.
And
So
I've had this ever since we've been married, which is over 30 years now.
wonderful.
So it's quite special.
Well, yes, it would be, and it's in very good condition. So you've been taking care of it.
It is, yes. I'm very careful with it. I don't have a cup of tea or coffee up there.
Yes, that's the problem with a lot of the doilies that were used, or the crochet tablecloths, and that they get stained so easily with tea or coffee or wine.
Exactly.
So it is because you know the amount of work put into it. So
yeah, well, that's right. Yes, I don't know how she did it really, because I can't, because my eyes aren't quite so good. I do a lot of knitting myself.
okay, yeah, knitting stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger needles, yeah. When I crochet, it's with yarn, so I can handle the.
So Hania is showing us a very pretty doily there. Beautiful.
Oh yes, that's lovely.
I can't see it, so Anya, if that's you, can you say something?
Well, this looks very striking against a dark background.
Definitely.
What I do with it is I put a dark tablecloth on our on the table, and then I put this over it.
Yes. It makes a big difference being on a dark color. You can see the pattern so much easier. That's beautiful.
We have another chat. It's from Gail, and she's asking, are we able to view the workshops again? And yes, you will be able to view them. Give me a couple of days to get them up onto YouTube. You'll find the links later on our website, fwic.ca. And you will see them also on our social media pages when we have those posted. Patricia has her hand up again.
I just wanted to, I belong to a number of sewing and craft sites and spotted something a couple of weeks ago that blew my socks off. A woman took really kind of dowels and knitted a fence for her backyard in a lace pattern. It was just spectacular.
On the Shetland Islands.
Yeah, I saw that somewhere
With heavy,
on media, I guess. I could not believe it. Wow.
wow.
We have another comment here, Hanya, that would be beautiful attached to colored comforter as a bedspread.
Yes.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of the dream catchers or that on a embroidery hoop or that, because that really shows them off well too. So
I like the idea of it putting in the window so the birds don't hit your window.
yes.
Mm. Mm. Mm.
Well, ladies, if we have no other comments, I would like to thank everybody for attending and having your comments, and special thanks to Barbara for all her hard work and getting that set up, and we really do appreciate it.
Thank
I
you.
love doing this kind of stuff. So
Definitely.
Always
Yeah.
nice seeing you too, Barb. Nice seeing you, Barb.
I like the thumbs up and the hearts, a little. Awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for attending. So don't forget, come and join us on the next one on March the 21st for the painting and the 27th for the floral arrangements. And if you have any questions on any of this, give us a shout, info@fwic.ca. Thanks, everyone. Going to sign off now.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Enjoy the
guys.
rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.